Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. The Kosasa Foundation, helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ, Hawaii's new wave of storytellers.
Aloha and welcome to this week's episode of HIKI NŌ, Hawaii's new wave of storytellers. My name is Jade Onaka and I'm a senior at Konawaena High School on Hawaiʻi Island. It's an honor to host you this evening coming from the Kona side of the island. Tonight's episode will feature stories of hometown pride, legacy, and ʻOhana. We'll get to know the 100-year history behind my school, Konawaena High School, in a story shot produced and edited by my classmates. Then, students from Honokaʻa High and Intermediate School on Hawaiʻi Island will share a unique how-to video about safe driving in their hometown. Population 2,000. From the island of Kauai, a student from Kapa High School will share her student reflection on the strong bonds of sisterhood. Next, from the HIKI NŌ archives, Kalama Intermediate School students from Maui will be sharing their profile of a master of kapa making. From H.P. Baldwin High School on Maui, a student will share her thoughtful visual essay of what home means to her. And from the students of Hawaii Preparatory Academy in Kamuela on Hawaiʻi Island, we'll learn about a boulder that has legendary Hawaiian history of its own in another HIKI NŌ archive story. But first, it's my pleasure to share with you some of my own work. I'm going to tell you about a journey that I took last fall to learn more about my family's history and our connections to the ʻāina. I've always had an interest in advocacy for indigenous communities. I am particularly focused on food sovereignty here in my hometown of Kona. I believe we can and will create a local food system that can sustain all of our people. In 2020, I joined Teach for America's Hawaii's Youth Council. We come together and discuss what's going on in our schools, and we'd also work on projects created by Teach for America. That led to an invitation for me to speak on an Indigenous Youth Council panel, where I had the privilege to speak to other Indigenous students about how COVID affected our communities. Little did I know that in the audience that day, there's a storyteller. His name was Joel Sarin-Christ, and he works for Teach for America's online magazine. I didn't know that this would start a year-long project working with him to create a short animated film about food sustainability. This video to me represents nourishment. It took many hours, days, and months of research, interviews, and energy to share this message of food sustainability. This video was also nourishing for me. It gave me the opportunity to dig deeper into my culture and connect with the elders in my community and to really gain an understanding of who I was. I've changed so much since the beginning of this project. I've learned that with the art of patience and gratitude, within this journey, I learned all the kinds of impact that I can make. I hope that this video is nourishment for the Hawaiian culture. My dad has always said that being Hawaiian is much bigger than ethnicity, but is a way that you carry yourself and do all things with aloha and the Hawaiian values in mind. I hope that when you watch this video, it is nourishment for you, and that this nourishes your want and need to show your result from what you took from my video into your words and your actions. We live in such a beautiful land. The more we help nourish the Hawaiian culture, the more we help cultivate a better future. Now, without further ado, here's our short animated film that was produced and published by One Day Studio at Teach for America. My name is Jade Onaka. I'm 16 years old and I live in Kona on the island of Hawaii. Up alongside the steep driveway leading to my house, we grow tea leaves, which we use to make laulau, feed cattle, and make leis. We've grown other vegetables too. We even had kalo plants for a summer, but they're not there anymore. That's my fault in a way. Let me explain. I grew up in a family of ranchers. My great-great-grandfather was the first person of Japanese ancestry to own a cattle ranch in Hawaii, maybe even in the whole US. He arrived here in 1905 to earn money on the island sugar plantations. By 1914, he purchased his first cattle to feed his growing family. Ranching became the family business, and they got pretty good at it. My great-grandfather was known for herding cattle into the ocean and onto boats bound for Oahu. No ranchers on the mainland had to drive cattle into the surf, I can tell you that. On my mom's side of the family, some of my relatives are native Hawaiian. While my dad grew up caring for cattle, my mom paddled outrigger canoes through the ocean waves. In both of their families, food brought people together after long days in the fields or on the water. Still today, our family stands together in a line to make laulau from the leaves of the kalo plant. When I was younger, my dad gave me some kalo for our garden, but I didn't tend to it. Back then, I didn't know how important kalo was to the Hawaiian people in the past, or that it might help us survive into the future. The story goes that long ago, two gods came together, Wakea and Papa Hanaumoku. They created Ho'ohoku Kalani. Then, Wakea and Ho'ohoku Kalani came together, and Ho'ohoku Kalani gave birth to a stillborn child. They buried the child next to their house. From the grave, a kalo plant grew. They named him Haloa Nakalau Kapalili. Their second child, Haloa, was the first Kanaka, and he cared for his elder brother, the kalo plant. The kalo in turn provided nourishment. It's always been like that. When we care for the ʻāina, the land, the ʻāina cares for us. In the Hawaiian language, the words for the kalo plant are the same as those for family. The plant that grows from a clipping is the mākua or parent. The offshoots are keiki or children. Together, the whole plant is ʻOhana or family. Growing up, my parents taught me the value of providing for ourselves and sharing with our community. But I learned that Hawaii as a state imports nearly 90% of its food. Even though we live in a climate perfect for growing food year-round, changes anywhere else in the world could leave us without enough to eat. During distance learning, I decided to learn more about how my ancestors provided for themselves, with the hope that we could begin to do the same. I called Dean Wilhelm, a kalo farmer and educator, and Natalie Kurashima, a resource manager and researcher who studies Native Hawaiian agriculture. I learned from them kalo was one of my ancestors' main food sources, and part of a complex agricultural system that provided for Hawaiians for almost 1,000 years. Imagine wedge-shaped divisions of land called ahupua'a, stretching from the mountains down to their base in the ocean. Within each ahupua'a, my ancestors cultivated the land based on its character. Wood from the mountains, vegetables from the field, kalo from the valleys, fish from the ocean. One ahupua'a provided everything people living within it could need. With this system, according to research, ancient Hawaiians produced more than 1 million tons of food each year. That's enough to feed almost everyone who lives on the islands today. 100 years after my great-great-grandfather left work on the sugar plantations, the last one closed. Today, it is estimated that 40% of Hawaii's agricultural land is lying unused. What if we cultivated that land again? Food is freedom. A Hawaii independent of imported food is not just a dream. People are working hard to make it a reality. Across the islands, farmers are restoring the lo'i. Communities are fighting to regain their water rights. People are rebuilding fields and other food systems based off of ʻike kopuna. Schools, including mine, are teaching that knowledge to Hawaiian students. I grew up the daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter of ranchers. I learned how to work long days. Now, I might put that to use in my own way. My kuleana goes beyond learning my history and about my family's trade. It begins with growing some kalo once again. I hope you enjoyed the film. Now, let's take a closer look into Konawaena High School's storied history and the Centennial celebration held in its honor.
Konawaena High School on the west side of Hawaiʻi Island celebrated its 100-year anniversary in October. The school was built in 1921 as a grammar school on land donated by the established coffee farm owner, the Greenwell family. Konawaena has long been a gathering place for the Kona coffee community.
It's in the name, Konawaena, so Kona, middle. It's the pinpoint area where everyone comes together. The community is gathered. Students come here to learn, and students come here to participate in activities. So I feel that Konawaena's role is to be the pinpoint.
Konawaena was led by its first principal, Mr. Clyde Crawford, as well as by the recently retired principal, Mr. Sean Suzuki.
I've been a teacher here for 11 years. I've been an administrator for a principal here for 20. Pretty much everybody, every person in Kona has some memory, connection, some story to this place, to Konawaena High School.
For many families like 1982 alumna and former teacher Mrs. Kelly Sugai-Dole, Konawaena has been a place where generations of memories have been made.
So a few years back, we have Mrs. Suzuki, who was the music teacher, and she was so good. She was teaching my grandkids the alma mater. And so I had brought my parents with me, and my two daughters were there, and the grandkids were there. So we all stood up, and she said, let's sing the alma mater together. And the 4 generations sang the alma mater together, and my parents still knew the words.
In 2013, Konawaena teacher Mr. Maverick Kawamoto discovered an old picture of a memorial on campus.
Somebody gave us a photo of the school, a memorial, and nobody knew what the memorial was for. We did some research and finally found out what the memorial was for.
Turns out it was dedicated to Louis James McFarland, a coffee manager in South Kona who contributed to many projects in the community. He was so beloved, Konawaena High School erected a memorial in his honor.
And at that point, we felt that it was important to have a museum to save the history of Konawaena.
This living museum was completed in late 2014 and served as a time capsule for the Centennial celebration.
Good evening. Aloha no, aloha kako. My name is Billy V, class of 1983, Konawaena High School.
Due to COVID, original in-person plans for the Centennial celebration shifted to virtual events hosted by prominent alumni.
To do a virtual Centennial was, it felt good to do it. It felt different because, with distancing and being safe and all of that. But at the very least, to be able to have one, to be able to be there with people to celebrate this incredible place in some way, shape, or form, and then have the public, have the community, have graduates be able to participate was absolutely fantastic.
Though the Centennial celebration did not go as planned, it's clear Wildcat pride is alive and well at Konawaena. Students, staff, and alumni are dedicated to improving lives on and off campus and will support the community for years to come. This is Amber Dahl from Konawaena High School for HIKI NŌ.
We take great pride in our Big Island home. Let's learn from students at Honokaʻa High and Intermediate how to take care of our community by driving safely.
Our hometown of Honokaʻa is a small community of 2,000 people, and our roads are narrow. Our campus at Honokaʻa High and Intermediate School is next to one of the busiest roads, and there's always student pedestrians walking to school. Today, we'll show you the best ways to drive safely to campus, and these tips just might help you pass your driver's exam. Driving behind the wheel is a big responsibility. As a new driver, I have to be attentive to what is in my surroundings. As you go up the road, don't forget to follow the appropriate speed limit. As you get closer to campus, you'll reach school crosswalks. When coming to a crosswalk, slow down and look for pedestrians. If someone is crossing, stop and wait until the pedestrian completely crosses the road. Use your car's mirrors to check for any other cars or pedestrians that may be behind you. In following these driving guidelines, you will arrive at school safely without hurting yourself, others, and damaging your vehicle. We hope these tips will help more drivers to stay safe in our town of Honokaʻa. This is Mark Rebellion from Honokaʻa High Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
Now, let's travel to Kauai to meet Kapaa High School student Larissa McKnight, who reflects on the strong bond she has with her sister and how it helped her through tough times.
This is Larissa McKnight, a senior at Kapaa High School on Kauai. I'm recording this in my bedroom on November 19th, 2021. Right before the pandemic hit, my parents sat my sister Caitlin and I down and broke the news that they were separating. We were both shocked. My little sister is 5 years younger than me, and before this, we really weren't that close. Looking back, I don't think she was old enough to understand what was happening. She didn't really want to talk about it, even though I did. I had a lot to process too, and it was hard for me to see her struggle. However, during quarantine, with nothing else to do, we decided to learn how to skateboard. We went to the skate park every day. Helping each other learn how not to fall off and hurt ourselves brought us closer together. Now, we're pretty much joined at the hip. We go to the beach, watch movies, cook, and even share a room. When I drive her to school, we listen to music, talk about our plans for the day, and sometimes stop for hot cocoa. Even though we never really talk about our parents' divorce, we are stronger together, going through this hard time as our family changed. Now, I worry what might happen after I graduate later this year and possibly leave Hawaii. But I know, no matter what, my sister and I have each other's backs.
Next, this story from the HIKI NŌ archives from Kalama Intermediate School on Maui showcases the art and craft of making kapa cloth, the traditional Hawaiian way.
So kapa, in my own words, it would be being reconnected to my cultural traditions through the practice of kapa making.
Kapa is used in ancient Hawaii for such things as clothing, beddings, and banners. The revitalization of kapa making has restarted traditional uses, along with contemporary uses for art and fashion accessories.
And what that means for me is being able to make a piece of kapa that are real close to what my kupuna did. So the process would be, you would plant your kapa, your vauke. 2 years after that, you would harvest your vauke. Then you would strip it, you would soak it, then you would pound it to a mo'omo'o, then you would dry it out, and then re-wet it, pound it out again. After it's nice and dry, you would soften, you would dye it, and then you would print it.
It sounds really quick, but it has taken years of understanding or experimenting for Auntie Lei to explain how to do this.
Kapa is important to me and my family because it's something that I can teach them, I can teach my children, and I can teach my grandchildren.
Kapa is something that has not been widely practiced for over 200 years. Over the last 30 years, interest in kapa making has revived the art.
So I think I've been pounding kapa for about 17 years now. I do kapa every day. So every day there is a ritual for me that I wake up in the morning, I go tend to my vauke, make sure that they're all good, my dye plants, and I do some kind of kapa stuff. Could it be pounding, to planting, to making, to doing research? I do some kind of kapa thing every day. My goal is to help reclaim Native Hawaiian kapa cultural traditions to the contemporary Hawaiian. Learning as much as we possibly can to reconnect to our ancient cultural traditions. And with that, I hope to empower our Native Hawaiians with their own self-identity to be able to reclaim their rights of the language, of their land, of their identity. Why am I interested in kapa? Because it's cool. It's a cool thing to do. It's something that just keeps my interest to learn more, to do more, and to be connected more.
This is Leilani over from Kalama Intermediate for HIKI NŌ.
The next visual essay from a student at H.P. Baldwin High School on Maui is a great reminder of what home truly means. Let's watch.
Home. It is often defined as a place where one lives with 4 walls and a roof. For me, a home is more than where one lives. A book once taught me home isn't a set house or a single town on a map. It's wherever the people who love you are, whenever you're together. Not a place, but a moment, and another, building on each other like bricks to create a solid shelter that you take with you for your entire life, wherever you may go. Year after year, I reminisce about people that I have lost. They were and are some of the most important people in my life. I wanted to go back in time and rewrite everything leading up to the loss of them, to mend the broken pieces of my home. But what would going back in time fix, besides having the same outcome happen? That's when it hit me. In the past years, I have failed to realize that I have met the most amazing people and animals that have made me the happiest I could have ever been. Whether they may be near or far, these amazing people and animals are my definition of home.
The students of Hawaii Preparatory Academy on Hawaiʻi Island have a legend to share with you about a fabled rock that is said to have the power to bring rain. It's a special story from the HIKI NŌ archives.
You know, you have to believe. You have to believe and you have to trust that the ways of an ancient people that were here before you and were passed down to you are upright and true.
While in a hidden place in the small town of Waimea on the Big Island, a legendary pohaku or rock by the name of Manaua was a savior for many people in their times of need and despair. Many Hawaiian people believe that Manaua can provide a safe haven for them to practice their culture and to perpetuate what they believe in.
Aloha mai kākou o pua keis koʻu inoa o mauna a wākea kuʻu mauna o keia o Manaua ka pohaku o ka ua o Waimea. My name is Pua Case. I am born and raised here in this community of Waimea. This is my one hanau, my birthplace. Mauna Kea is my mountain, and I am standing in front of Manaua, the rain rock of Waimea.
Manaua got its name from the mo'o, or lizard that lives in Kohakuhau stream, that sunbathes on this pohaku with her family.
There are those who still can see them. And so when we come here, those who can see them will say, oh, Manaua is here.
It is said that Manaua has the gift to bring water to Waimea in times of need.
When my father was in charge of water for the entire ranch, you know, we went through a really, really severe drought in 1978 and 1979 where we didn't have any more water. If you can even believe that, in a community here in Hawaii where the only water you have is coming out of one spigot at Church Row.
Many people, like Pua Case, believe that Manaua is the one responsible for bringing Waimea out of the drought and turning it into what you see today.
It is a place that we treasure, that is alive with the prayer and the offerings, and it is something that we can teach our children. So we made a promise in this community that we hope to keep, and we've been doing it for years, where every student in every school learns about Manaua.
By learning the story of Manaua, the community and students are helping preserve the story of Waimea.
Wherever I am at the sacred places between Manaua and Mauna Kea lies Waimea.
This is Jane Grace Cootie from Hawaii Preparatory Academy for HIKI NŌ.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of HIKI NŌ. We hope that you've enjoyed watching the work of Hawaii's new wave of storytellers as much as we've enjoyed sharing them with you. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and TikTok to receive some bonus behind-the-scenes content and keep up to date with the latest and best stories from Hawaii's youth. That's it for our episode. We'll see you next week for more proof that Hawaii students HIKI NŌ can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. Kamehameha Schools, empowering Hawaiian keiki to explore, discover, and inspire. The Kosasa Foundation, helping to transform education and develop Hawaii's workforce through bold learning initiatives like HIKI NŌ.